Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our panel, The Cultural Differences and Fan Engagements. My name is YoungAjummah, and I've been around for a little bit, but this is the first year that we have such a panel, and I'm super excited because I have questions, and hopefully so do you. So, to get started, I am going to have my lovely panelists introduce themselves and talk a little bit about fan engagements.
Cool. Awesome. We're gonna share.
If you need this one.
Okay, so hi everybody.
Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Miranda Larson. So I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Tokyo. I'm also a lecturer at a different university in Tokyo called KCON. So I study K-pop in Japan. So when artists come to Japan and how they promote, how they deal with fans. I'm really interested in rookies when they come to Tokyo, especially, and how they try and negotiate meeting people from a different culture who speak a different language. So you'll see some stuff from my fieldwork later, but yeah. So I'm here to talk about the Japan side of things.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Cherry. Today I'm going to be talking mostly about the fan engagement events and fan signs in Korea. That's the area I'll be focusing on. For the past 10 to 12 years, I've been attending multiple concerts, fan meetings. Especially I've spent a lot of time in Korea, so I don't know how many of you have been to Korea and have followed your groups through that promotional cycle, but I'd like to share my experience with that.
Great, thank you. And as I said, I'm YoungAjummah. I go by Sarah as well, if YoungAjummah is too long to say. I've been to a lot of concerts and very few fan engagements, and I always kind of trip over that. Normally I say fan meets because here, that's what they are. You meet them for a brief second, and then that's it. Group photo, thank you very much, have a nice day. But I've learned with working with these ladies these past few weeks that it's actually more of an engagement in the different countries. So hopefully you will learn a little bit, and yeah, let's ask some wild questions. So that's who we are. Wonderful photos of us. Panelists, do you have, just off the top, a favorite fan engagement that you can kind of recall?
Like a type of fan engagement?
Okay, yeah, we can go with a type or maybe a group.
A story or
Oh, yes, we're gonna get into all of that. But like a favorite group, like whenever they come out, you're like, I have to go see them.
I think for me, more than the group, I really value the fan sign experience. I don't think it's something we have here. I know recently it's starting to come abroad, which I think is a great thing. I know that a group is recently having a fan sign. I don't know if any of you are trying for that. But I think fan signs offer the most intimate level of fan engagement there is compared to fan meetings or photo ops or a high touch.
Okay.
So for me, that's more than the group. It's that type of experience I value.
Okay.
I think most recently I've been to a Stray Kids fan sign earlier this, I think it was a few months ago. And I just think it's something that we don't get to experience a lot here, where you can talk to them as if you were friends, right? And if you go to multiple ones, they'll know your name when they see you. They'll ask you how your day went, what you ate for dinner, what you ate for lunch, and then I think that part of the experience is my favorite.
I'm a little jealous on that one. Okay.
Me, I'd have to say it's probably Teen Top.
Yeah.
Because so I'm a fan of Neil. Yeah. And actually, my first experience, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So for Teen Top, the first time I saw them was actually at KCON. Right? Anybody go to that show?
Which year was that one?
That was 2014.
Okay.
2014. So 2014, and then in Japan, you'll see some of the photos. Actually, Teen Top is really easy to access in Japan. They're not treated as a major idol. They're treated as like a lower tier idol. So it's really easy to go and meet them and talk to them. So when I went to talk to Neil, and he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" Because obviously I'm not Japanese. And I said, "Oh, I'm from America, but I live in Tokyo." And he said, "Oh, well, why are you a fan of our music? Why do you like Teen Top?" And I said, "Well, I like all your songs, so." And I said, "The first time I saw you was KCON." And he's like, "The blue suit." I'm like, "Yeah, the blue suit. You look so good in the blue suit." And every time I've met him since then, he's like, "Blue suit." Like he remembers that conversation. So that was always really fun. So Teen Top's events are good to go to.
That's awesome. Personally, I prefer the Korean hip hop fan engagements simply because, right off the top, it's a lot more intimate and it's not, nothing dirty, but it's just you can get a lot closer to them, which we'll talk about later on. Versus, like in 2014, BTS had a fan meet, and even back then, when they pretty much had just debuted not too long ago, it was just quick. I don't even know if your hand, if you can see this, actually touched, and then you're pulled away. So, yeah. Okay, well, let's get into this. I'm gonna start off with what we have here. And audience, I haven't been to every fan engagement, so if there's something that maybe that I haven't said, please feel free to speak up about it, okay? So, here we go. As you can see, there's me and the different fan engagements, and actually all 3 of these are from hip hop and R&B. It's Dean, Verbal Gent, and Ready. So, oh, are you guys ready? Oh, okay, that's great. Oh, good. So, like, Ready had a concert in Washington, D.C., and it's a club that might have been the size of this room. Really small. The VIP tickets got to do, pictures like this. It was one-on-one. We got, like, you can see in my hand, I have a poster that he signed. And, it's, even though it's close like this, it was a thank you very much for coming. Hope you had a good time tonight. And then next, with people like Dean or Verbal Gent, it's a group photo. A lot of times, you don't get to choose who's in your picture.
It's so weird.
Thankfully, for Verbal Gent, and this was a while ago and times have changed, so this was back 2014, 15. Those are all my girls, thank goodness, but like with Dean, which was 2016, I knew 2. And then the other 2, they didn't have anybody to take the picture with. So the workers were like, if you don't have anybody, basically you can't take the picture, regardless of the fact that you've paid. Wow. So it's just like, just come on, and you don't want to be like that person going solo. It's like, gosh, now I gotta, it's like your first day of school and you're looking in the lunchroom with your food, like, where can I sit? I don't know who to talk to. And it's like, come on, it's supposed to be the best night of your life, kind of, So, types of fan meets that we have here are, like I said, the high touches, group photos, which you see, poster signing, which, honestly, I don't see a lot of. I think now it's starting to gain popularity. For the hip-hop artists, they do the poster signing a lot more than, like, the groups. And then on the bottom there, I made a little note, like, rookie groups recently have been coming and have added a pick-a-pose, which, you don't know what that is?
No, remember, that's why we came up with the idea for this panel.
Yes.
Because I said, that is the strangest thing I have ever seen.
Has anyone in the audience done a pick-a-pose with anyone? It makes you sad.
Really
because
weird.
if people don't like a member, they won't pick that person.
Yeah.
So you'll get members with like line 17 people long, and one member that has one person that's just like. So it's like it feels awkward because then it really shows like people are biased towards certain members and groups, and that's just gonna happen. But I feel like it makes the artist aware of that, and that would make me feel so bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw that your hand was up too.
Yeah. I've worked on that side of actually taking the photos sometimes, and it's definitely like a weird experience. Personally, like, I think it's a cool idea. Like, it's something different we're getting in the U.S. that you don't see internationally. But the poses are weird.
Yes. So somebody doesn't know what it is, so can you explain what
yes.
the pose is?
Thank you for not knowing what it is, because
It's like this.
it looks like this, okay? This is an actual group that is coming. I believe this is Impact, because the company that bring a lot of the newer groups now is called Studio PAV. And I like them because they are trying to do different things that a lot of the larger companies and entertainment groups don't do. So, for example, like you said, it's usually one pose with one idol. So if you don't like a certain one, or maybe I shouldn't say don't like, but if you have that one bias, that's where you're gonna go. And a lot of times that I've seen, there is that one or two idol that's just sitting there like, well, this is great, and it can't feel good. A lot of times it happens before the concert, So that
Oh.
can't be like a good feeling,
That's
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
Poor
it doesn't
guy.
happen. I guess it kind of depends on which group, you know, before and after. But I've seen it happen before, and then it's like you gotta perform knowing that nobody likes you. So yeah, it's kind of weird. For this particular one, as you can see, you have to pay $20, and it does not. Your concert ticket does not cover that. So you have to get the ticket, and then you get the add-on, which. For in fact, $20, I mean, it's like, that's not bad.
No.
But I've seen some where it's a lot of money. I want to say Amber, when she had hers, anybody go to Amber's concert when she was touring? Right. She had, like, her tickets were reasonably priced. I'll say $80, and I'm guessing because it was last year. But then if you want a VIP, where you got to speak with her, take the picture and all that stuff, it was like $100. And it didn't include the ticket. And it's like,
That's not a lot for
It's-
the US.
shoot, it is to me. I know that can be a lot more, but it was one of those things where it's like, gosh, why can't the concert ticket include everything, you know? So, yeah. Now, let's break down these price packages since we were talking about it. And again, this is going off, in fact, simply because it's an upcoming concert. It might be ongoing right now, and I just wanted to have it's ongoing?
Mhm.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I had the
I wanted to go.
most accurate prices at the time. So as you can, I don't know if you can see, Jerry. Oh, okay. Yeah, general admission is $69, where you're the last person to enter, but you are still eligible for the pickup pose, which you saw. If you get the special VIP, it's $99. You get that high touch, ooh, and the pre-show group photo. I want to say it's like up to 6 people at a time. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's a little more, and then of course it depends on the company. I've heard horror stories where
20.
things don't happen.
20 people photos.
Really? Which one was that?
Oh my god, who was that?
Yes, we're all about dropping names.
I don't remember. It was like years ago.
It was years ago, and it was because they went, oh no, we got too many people.
Oh, it was BTS.
Oh, it wasn't the red bullet
yeah, it was red-
thing? Well,
They
that
started.
was-
They started to do it on the last BAP tour too.
I was like, BAP did that,
Yeah.
and it was.
Yeah, that, actually, I didn't put that in here at all, but that BTS, that was
Mm-hmm.
a shit show. I'm sorry, there's no other way to say it, but it was really bad, but, you know.
I
we-
think
far from
Impact
that
is
time.
doing like a sale right now for tickets too. They're
Yes,
like
so
super cheap.
that's, thank you for bringing that up. It is almost like a Groupon.
I
So
want a group.
what happened is with Studio PAV, if they don't sell a certain amount of tickets, the price drops down. So right now it's what, $19?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, $19 because they're trying to fill those seats. I mean, can you imagine you go out to perform and it's like 5 people, you know? So,
I wanted
yeah.
to go so bad.
The only thing is, if I bought my $69 ticket, and then it's like, now it's $19, you don't get a
We
refund.
went to a show, it was a BAP show, and a lot of the back of the lower floor was empty, so they just told people that were up in the rafters to come down and fill in because you could just, like,
Yeah,
turning
it's-
around, no one was in P2, they were either in P3 because it
Right.
was cheaper, or the people who wanted the high touch and stuff.
It's a really
So they just
awkward thing.
moved them down.
Right, so, yes, and then of course the
I didn't think
VIP
of that too.
package, which is $149, but you get an album, you get a fan sign, group photo, you get everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So there was actually one of the concerts I went to, the one that was like someone mentioned a lot of people buying P3 and like no one really bought P2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I actually went to the Top Dog concert in Miami.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The gas.
So
Yeah.
at like right before the show started, they looked at the audience and went, "Hey, everyone in P3, move up."
Yeah.
Wow.
And because there were a lot of P2 that was empty, so they just like brought everyone down closer, and it got super intimate. It was really cool.
Fortunately, that's not going to happen at tomorrow night's concert.
No. Nope.
No.
Fully, like I work concerts and
Okay.
we've had that issue. We did I call it the Show Me the Money 7 concert because there's no better way to say it. But we
Okay.
did like it was Ready and God, who else was on that tour? It's been a while.
Was it G2? Was he
No,
part of
it
that?
was with Mama San and
Oh, and
yeah.
the guy with the
Yeah.
yes.
And like a bunch of other artists, and we actually eliminated an entire section and upgraded everyone, and we actually got crap for it. because
Really?
because we eliminated some seats and we put some on the floor and people were like, but I paid for that ticket. I'm
Yeah.
like, but you're getting a nicer ticket and you're getting
Some people
to meet
rather
them.
sit
And
down.
they're-
That doesn't make any.
it was really entertaining.
Yeah. So, yes. So let's talk about the details. The duration and quality of interaction, because it's so different, you know, going from different countries. It's like, well, let's talk about this. Because like Miranda said, she had never heard of a pick a pose. And it's like, look, you pay all this extra money and it's like, and it's gone. You know, you snap your fingers and that's it. And it's like, did that really happen? Yes, ma'am.
My friend went to the Impact one and did the program, and it was really lovely.
It was?
Yeah, we had a lot of interaction.
That's great. And see, yeah.
Got a hug from saying.
Wow. And that's why I'm glad that Studio PV is
She did, I think, the VIP. She also
the,
did
the top tier one.
Yeah, she also did the pick one, that's really good.
I would have done.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of new, like some of the fans, they tell me because they know that we're going to be speaking about this. And they're like, you know, now with that particular company, they're doing a lot of great things. But
Their shows are
everybody
great.
else is.
My music pays.
The 2 4K show they did was
It was really good as
was
well.
really good.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. No skinship, although I know that sometimes when they do the high touches, they'll link hands. I've heard, you know, or they'll, like you said, they'll give a hug or two if they can. And then the recording rules is dependent on the company, but for the most part, you don't get recorded. They have to record everything for you. And then, yes.
I would like to add for the no skinship, if it's a group photo and one person in your group acts up, they will literally withhold the entire group photo. We had that happen at Subculture.
Oh,
For
wow.
for Amoeba Culture,
Yeah.
we had paid extra money, and one of the girls in our group like latched on, like leg up around him, arm up onto Crush, and literally we don't know what happened to that photo. Immediately, staff was pushing all of us off stage, and we're like, we didn't touch him. What's going on? But it's like,
It doesn't
because if one
matter.
person messes up, everyone's just done.
That is
So-
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, wow.
So what happens to that person when you guys, after you guys all get
We didn't
kicked
know,
out?
Right?
They were never heard from again.
We were just like, oh, it was wild, but yeah, so.
Did you ever get your picture?
No,
We
the
have
whole
no-
photo like everybody
Oh
else's,
my God.
but ours was not.
We have no idea what happened because,
It might have happened
But yeah.
whenever they were trying to take the photo. It might have been whenever everybody was in motion. They were just like off stage.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so no skinship is really strict.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it comes to a photo.
Okay, so, wow, I didn't realize that. So those are all of the engagements that we have during like concerts. But here we also have KCON, in which case we have unofficial, I call them the unofficial fannies, because you can just kind of randomly go up to folks if you see them, if you're, you know, have enough nerve to run up and be like, hey, as you can see, I am with Aca and Friday from Trophy Cat. And Alex Reed, who is here performing, I think, at some point today. And then Nightclub. So I was at this, it was like a K-pop night, but I ran into Eden from LC9. Who, oh, did I see? Is it, you like LC9?
I do.
Okay. So he
great.
wasn't performing. He was just there, I guess, hanging out with his friends and whatnot. I'm like, hey, I know you. It was a lot of drinks that night, so as you can see, we got real close, but it was really cool. And I'm like, I prefer this type of interaction. Like, obviously, I'm not, like you said, the girl who put her leg all over Crush. I'm not about to jump on this guy, but, you know, it was just really nice where there weren't the security,
Yeah.
you know, running around trying to pull you off of everybody, like, don't even breathe in the same air and whatnot, so. And yeah, so to end out my little spiel here for the pros and cons, yes, you get closer for a brief moment. It's a lasting memory if that idol is somebody who you really enjoy. But as you can see, I got a crap ton of cons because I don't want to pay extra money on top of everything that I pay for. If you're late to the fan engagement, guess what? So sad, you're not getting a refund, you know? And of course, no photography. Nowadays, I'm like, sir, you gotta get the right angle, the right lighting. I need to, you know, you can't just take this one and done. If I'm blinking or if my mouth is open, they don't give you extra chances. So, yes.
If the idol blinks or
Oh.
something, they will.
Right.
Yeah.
The idol looks bad.
So, and the no photography allowed thing
Mhm.
gets so strict.
Yeah.
Like, I was mid-concert and a girl pulled out her phone and tried to take a video of it, and the security guard jumped over top of me
Was
to
this
get.
BAP?
Oh no, this was Vixen, New York.
Okay, because I was at BAP and I swear the security guard started a crowd
Yeah,
surfing
right?
down. It
And
was
this is
the
like-
most entertaining thing I've seen in my life.
It was like a 250-pound dude. And I'm
Yeah.
like, please don't kill me. I don't want to die.
And they will snatch, and of course you get your photo. I mean, you get your phone back, but
Yeah.
they make sure you delete everything.
But people are getting sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to out this woman and I shouldn't.
Girl, I said we dropping
But
everything.
she will wear a GoPro as a necklace and like design it. She does BAP. You all have probably seen her fan cams if you like BTS, BAP, Monsta X, because I swear her stuff's everywhere. But she'll wear a GoPro for her, because they're like, no filming the high times.
Right.
But she'll just
Speaking
wear
of
it.
effects.
But the staff know her. So she'll like
So
rip
they
it
just
off.
kinda, yeah.
And she'll like throw it at one of her friends and be like, hide this as soon as she leaves, because
Wow.
she'll know that they're looking for her.
That is-
So you can get smart about it. You really can. Put your phone around.
Okay, Miss Miranda.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Alright.
So in Japan, actually, fan engagements are a lot different. If you're unfamiliar with it, Japan is actually the biggest market for K-pop outside of South Korea. Mostly because in Japan we still buy these things called CDs, real ones, and you'll see how that figures into what we call like the engagement. So for us, we actually don't say engagement; we say benefits. So we call it benefits. So for me, for my research, I say in Japan there's 3 levels of K-pop: major, rising, and rookies. A major group would be like Big Bang. There is no interaction, even if you're in the fan club. You are just going to a concert. You know, you might get some exclusive merchandise, but you're not meeting them. So in Japan, that part doesn't exist. But like I said, like Teen Top, we might consider them a major idol, but in Japan, they're this mid-tier, this rising. So you can just go to a shopping mall, and they're having a free event, and there's Teen Top. And you can stand there and record them, and you don't have to pay anything.
Okay, can I just say the fact that you said free event?
Free event.
We don't
Right. Yes. So we have promotional events, and promotional events are free. So you're going to a shopping mall, we still have Tower Records in Japan. You're going to a CD store or something like that. They're having what they call a mini live. They might have a talk time where they do a little interview. And you can, if there's space, you can just stand there and record part of it for absolutely no money, and you don't need to do anything. If you want to interact and do a handshake, or you want to take a picture, or get a fan sign, then you have to buy CDs. So CDs are the ticket for you to get to meet them. If you have one of these CDs, like you can see here for BIG, you get a random number ticket. So if this is the stage, and that day was a good day, I had 3 and 6. So for one event, I was the 3rd person let into the space. Then I was the 6th person let into the space. And it's random. You don't need to be the front of the line. You could be the end of the line and get number 1. So this is how Japan tries to make it a little more fair for people who might not have the time to
That's
show
really
up
interesting.
super early. And then we have rookies, and our rookies, and I get in trouble every time I say this, our rookies are real rookies. Like, actually, they don't have food, they live in dorms that are gross type of rookies. So they're actually very easy to access, and that's who I do most of my research with. Well, what was that?
Leave the names.
Yeah, you'll see. So for example, like this is the Teen Top stage. I got to that just by buying 1 CD, but you could record that part for free and just be standing in the back of this shopping mall. So each CD purchase equals a certain number of benefit tickets. Tickets can be used for different things. So we have handshakes and high touch, sign or an autograph, and for photographs we call it a 2-shot, which means theoretically it should be 2 photos, but it's up to the idol. If he likes you or knows you, like I had one where he'd just go like this and there'd be like 15 and he would just go, and it doesn't matter. It's up to the idol, because the idol has your phone. It's not your choice.
Okay, so the idols take the photos, not a
Yeah.
3rd person? Yeah, again, we don't have that.
It changes from group to group. So in some groups it's a choice. Like you
Okay.
can say, "Oh, can the staff please take the photo? Please take the picture of us." But otherwise, it's a selfie or a selfie, and he takes it for you.
Oh, I know my ankles more than a photographer.
Yeah, which is great, because I've had idols like almost drop my phone, and then I get like, I want to punch you, but I won't. So entry to all of these things are theoretically free, and your entry number is random, like you saw. So they try and make it more fair. People still will try and line up really early at like 6 a.m. or something to think that they might get a better chance, but it really is random.
I wanted to ask, even though it's
you
Yeah.
keep getting, stuff you don't want, would you continue to buy more albums?
What do you mean
and
stuff you don't want?
Like, it's not guaranteed that you'll have a photograph
Yes,
ticket.
it is.
Is it guaranteed
Yes.
that you'll have a photograph
So if
ticket?
I go and I buy, no, it's not a photograph ticket. So like I have CDs that I will later give away. If I buy one CD means I can use this ticket for a handshake. If I buy two CDs is a ticket for an autograph.
Oh,
If
wow.
I buy three CDs is a ticket for a picture, and then it's my choice which guy.
So it's predetermined and you know where you're going.
You know exactly what you're doing, so you're
Yeah,
going in
yeah,
and shopping for what you want.
Who's ready to move?
Will you house me?
I have a very small house. So for example, if anyone likes history,
Ooh, I like that.
so this was the day when I got a #1 ticket. So dead center at Tower Records Shibuya, right? Got to record everything for the whole thing. So that was a great day. So this is like a promotional event. So they would come out, do 3 or 4 songs, do a little bit of talking. It always depends on how good their Japanese is.
Okay.
Right? And sometimes they bring a translator, but other times they don't, and they have a member who might do some of the translating for them. But that's what an event looks like at Tower Records. For like history in Japan was more of a rising idol. They were in the middle.
Really?
Yeah. So they were very popular.
All right, we're about to get into some very scandalous photos, so just be prepared.
Scandalous?
Okay. So for rookies, benefits are sometimes free and they change a lot. So some extreme examples are video. So after you filled up a point card, like if you went to a lot of concerts, you would hand the staff your phone, and then the idol would take it backstage and record a message to you for 30 seconds.
Wow.
And then you get your phone back, and there's the video on there, and it is on this phone. It's still there. There's a 5-minute date, which is what this picture is from. So that's a 5-minute recorded date where you're with the idol doing whatever.
Yes. Okay. No. Just we're not gonna just
I'm
slide
smooth
across
it.
that. I need details of a 5-minute date. Because this is something that I know will never happen. It will
No, just
never
give me
happen.
5
Yeah.
minutes.
5 minutes is not long enough. I'm sorry. 5 minutes is not long enough, but there's no restrictions to that when it comes to 5-minute dates.
Restrictions how?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you touch him or her or I mean like?
It's for rookies. It's just whatever your relationship is. There is a staff member. There's a staff member in the room. So like this group has 5 members.
Okay.
So imagine they'll say we're gonna do the 5-minute date. So there's 5 members and then there's 5 people, right? One for each member.
Okay.
So like they're over there, we're over here, they're over there, and then a staff member's by the door and they're like, okay, starting now. And there you go
I don't
for
even-
5 minutes.
What do you say? Yes, ma'am. Because I don't even know what to say.
I know for Pentagon when they did their like thing, it was completely different. They had like tables.
Yeah.
And they had like it wide enough to where you could touch hands, but like there's no way that you could like get up and like grab them.
Yeah,
without like somebody stopping you before you.
Yeah, it depends on the venue too.
Yeah.
The venue and the level. Like these are rookies, so this theater is really like a movie theater. So I really actually came in and the row of seats and the seats are up like movies and he's just like ba-boom. Okay.
Because this looks like a legit date. Like you're just hanging out with your.
I have a very interesting research life. Leave it at that. And
Wow.
so you also record this whole thing on your phone. You're not supposed to upload it to social media,
Okay.
but you can have it and then you're theoretically sharing it with your friends. Or at KCON. So.
Okay.
Please explain what a hot hug is.
Right. Now,
Yeah. The fact that it's in quotes.
It's in quotes. So you have high touch,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes we do high touch at the end of the concert. Everybody gets to do high touch for free. Everybody's moving
We
to
don't have that
everyone's
here.
moving to Japan.
Yes.
So high touch is like this, especially for rookies. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, today we're gonna do, we call it, everything ends in kai. Kai means meeting. So high touch kai, right? Like, oh, we're gonna meet and do high touch. Hug kai is like, oh, we're leaving, okay, bye, 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 bye.
Is y'all's high touch only 2 seconds as well, or
No.
They
No,
don't rush you
it's
along.
as long as the idol would like it to be. So if he links fingers with you and is still talking with you, that is how long it
And
goes.
staff's not
And
gonna
everyone
come
else
out.
will wait in line.
Wow.
I have my friend here and she can vouch for that. Same thing goes for the hug. And then a couple times for rookies, they would say, oh, today is hot hug time. And See, my friend Lisa can vouch. So she hated hot hugs because hot hugs was like regular hug is like this. Hot hug is like your hands go where they go. Excuse. And their hands go where they go. And it just depends on the relationship you have with that person.
How do you even get in a relationship with that person?
Well, you have to remember that for us, like an autograph,
Yeah.
that is, especially if they're not popular, that's like 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
It's not talking to them for 1 minute for a sign. Like, it's a really long time. We also have a thing called demachi, which means waiting outside, and then we're talking, giving them gifts. We give them alcohol. We do, you know, it's a very free environment.
So different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
But again, that's for rookies.
That's for rookies, but some of these benefits also move up towards like the rising, so it becomes more acceptable to do certain things that you wouldn't be able to do in another country. Yeah.
Like a hot dog.
Like a hot dog.
Eat a hot dog.
Anybody have questions? Okay. So yeah, we have usual things too. We have autographs, selfies. We also take Polaroids. So Polaroids are cheaper.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But all of these for poses, which you'll see in some other things, it's free. So it's what he wants to do, what you want to do, whatever you decide you want to do, your choice. We have handshakes, high touch, and hug. Regular hug.
We don't even get regular hugs.
Friendly hug.
We don't get anything. I'm so sad right now.
If I don't speak Japanese, how do I get into one?
Yeah, how
So a lot of the idols that come, especially idols that are rookies, some of them have either done study abroad in the US or they've studied English. So actually for some of my work, like I'm speaking English, for other work I'm speaking Japanese. So you can actually manage a bit. You might need like a guide to help you in, but that's my job. So I'll help you if you come over. So for example, there's that group doing, we call it PR, so they're going around handing out flyers, and then there's me behind them doing my job, recording them.
That is amazing. So I did see this on the other slide. What exactly for PR? They just, hand out their
So
CDs?
they're walking around Koreatown in Tokyo, handing out flyers and advertising their concert. So they're talking to people saying, oh, we have a concert tonight at 7 p.m. If it's your first time, it's free. Come to our show.
Y'all, can you
It's fun.
imagine
Wait, if
that?
it's your first time, it's free?
Yeah, and you get a free photo.
That would not work here at all.
No. So here's some more examples. So like for map 6, so just taking a picture. Then here's me on PR. So during PR we could record. So like we were talking about, oh, how do you study Japanese? And we're just having this conversation, but I'm recording it the whole time. So it's very casual.
It's a very
and
candid shot.
intimate and very strange actually. Go to the next one.
Yeah.
If you want.
All right, here we go.
No, there's other things.
Here it is. I have questions.
Okay, you can ask some
This
questions.
picture here with the hand on the head. What's going on? What
I
type
think
of
He's
engagement
not,
is that?
So
Yeah, what was that?
he's not my favorite.
Well, you're his favorite for that.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the internal screaming face. I think that's my.
The internal screaming face. Yeah. Afterwards, I was like, "What were you doing?" My mother's gonna see that. So that's Kevin. Kevin was actually, he was a trainee for JYP and was supposed to debut with 2 a.m. and got cut right before debut. And then because he got cut, he left JYP and then entered this rookie group that was then active in Tokyo's Koreatown. So he's this level in terms of training, but had to start from the bottom because of how the system works. And we took that photo at the end. And then I took
What was
pictures
that one called?
with
Like what type of engagement?
Would this be
was that?
considered like a hot hug or?
That's just a photo. That's a Polaroid. That's a
That's
Polaroid.
the free photo?
That's, yeah, like a,
Wow.
she has question. That's just a free photo. But Kevin did study abroad in the US, so we speak English with each other, so our relationship became easier to talk compared to the other idols who couldn't speak English as easily. And then some of you might know Gunmin from, if you watched, what show was he on?
I don't know.
One of the idol produce
Oh, the
things.
Produce 101?
Almost all of
Like
BIG
season
like
two?
appeared on it,
Okay.
right?
I think it was next
So he takes really good selfies, so that's why I put that.
Yeah,
perfect.
that's,
No, okay.
wow.
Great.
All right.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like in Japan. I'm sure if you have more questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting here like, wow.
But very different compared to.
Yeah, compared to here, yes ma'am.
So it's not like a K-pop star, but it's kind of on the side of the Japan engagements. I was at a convention in Texas, and we had a fashion designer, Kimura Yu, and we had like a big party with her, and she was just like walking around, interacting with everybody. She did the 2 shots, and then she also did something where you could pay to have a 30-minute sit-down session with her.
Wow.
And she would just give you advice on like whatever you wanted.
That's cool.
Yeah, like you could just talk to her for 30 minutes.
And that was here.
Yeah, that was here in the US, yeah.
Cool. Well, then maybe things are changing, slowly but surely. All right, next we have, I'm sorry, yes.
I was gonna say, have you had fan engagement in Korea? And, were you able, like, I'm asking Verona, yeah. If you had fan engagement in Korea, was there like a difference in fan engagement in?
I've never been to a fan engagement in Korea. I like Japan. Everything's pretty different there. I would say the thing that was the biggest, so like the major, I said, I went to the Japanese fan meeting for Rain.
Oh my God, yes.
And that was the most awkward thing ever because everybody got a high touch and he literally oils his hand so you can't grab it. So everybody's going out and it's just boom, 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 right? And that's because he's Rain. And he can do that. And that's like a Korean way of managing it for a really big star. So when you get to the majors, that's what it'll be. But all the way up there,
just imagine people sliding.
It was really, and it was like, what is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So now we have Miss Cherry, who's gonna tell us about fan engagements in Korea. Because after all of that, my goodness.
Yeah, so Korea is a little different from both, international and Japan. You don't get quite the level of intimacy or photos. In fact, photos are not really a thing for events in Korea. Not photos of you with your idol anyway. People take photos of their idol, not together, as you can tell by that picture.
Yeah.
So in Korea, I think these fan engagement events follow the promotional cycle. So I think most of you are familiar with that, but essentially it's when your group makes a comeback, they release a new album, then they go to promote on music shows for anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks. During that time, you can see them at music show recordings, radio, variety show recordings, and fan signs. So the benefit to being in Korea is that essentially for that entire period of time, you can see them every day, right? And most of these are free. So music shows are free. Sometimes they will have spontaneous mini fan meetings after these music shows. They're free. You just have to line up. So all of that is free, but it's not in that one-to-one interactive. Right? You will never attend a fan meeting after music show and get to take a one-to-one picture with an idol, not for an established group anyway. But I think the main benefit to being in Korea for these fan engagement events is the fan sign. So it's a little different from these photo ops. It's more, it is more strict. So you're not going to get hot hugs with GOT7 or Stray Kids. You're not going to get a 5-minute date. But I think if you're looking to see, I don't know if I'm right on this, but I would imagine like that level is also difficult with more established groups, right? If you're trying to see BTS or
right, so
you're not.
It depends on some of the idols do it like Taemin was just in Japan, and for Taemin you could win to go to the fan sign, but it was a lottery. Right. And Japan very rarely does the lottery unless they're a top tier. Most of the time, like for GOT7, GOT7 used to go to Tower Records. You could go and be like, "There's GOT7 for free," and then they moved beyond that, so it stopped happening.
So I think in Korea, when you have a fan sign, the fan sign experience is pretty similar when you have a rookie group compared to when you have an established group. More than the group or how many years they've been in, it's about the specific person. Right? So first of all, to get into a fan sign, I don't know if any of you have ever tried for a fan sign, but as a foreign fan in Korea, you essentially are competing with other foreign fans, not the Korean people. There's a separate allotment just for how many foreign fans can be in the fan sign. So, for example, my Korean friend can probably get into a GOT7 fan sign with maybe 10 or 15 albums. I might need to get 100. That's just the way it works. And I think that's why I asked you if it was guaranteed benefit from Japan CDs, because in Korea, when you try for a fan sign, nothing is guaranteed. You can buy 100 albums, and there's still an element of chance. You could not get it with 100 albums.
I think they do something. I don't know if anybody went to KCON New York, but I think AB6 tried to do something like that.
It's probably following that.
Yeah.
That style.
Yes.
So, like, let's say I moved to Korea and I lived there, whatever, for like a year or something. Is that considered still a foreign fan, or would that be
As long as your name is not Korean.
Oh.
Wow.
So, but if you have a Korean name and you're studying Korea and you have a Korean ID, then you can probably pass as a Korean fan. Right, but if you have a foreign name,
You can't change your air
Yeah.
Your air seems to stay the same as your passport.
yeah,
Cause
so
like,
unfortunately,
Do it.
Yes.
So is that why like you get a lot of people doing group orders, or like people do all these like, oh yeah, I'll
Yeah,
buy your
sometimes
album for you
I-
and send it to you because
yeah,
they're
people
trying to
do
get
group orders for different reasons, but fan signs is one of the reasons. So if someone is in Korea and they know they need to buy 100 albums to try for a fan sign, they might try to do a group order so that they can, after the fan sign, whether or not they get in, they have people to sell these albums to. Yes.
So is it just the albums in particular, or is there anything like in the albums? Because I know when I studied abroad, there was somebody had bought like a lot of the BTS albums, and I like posters last year, and it was like just 5 of them sitting there. So is there
Wow.
something in like the CDs that they're trying to get for?
No, so there's not like a ticket that you get in the CDs. You go, what they do is they have a designated time and place where you buy the albums for the fan sign. For example, you have to go to this store between the Tuesday and Wednesday. And then when you go there, they'll record your name, record how many albums you bought, and then after a few days, they will make an announcement on their website who gets in and who doesn't. There's nothing in those albums. So when I was in Korea most recently, I couldn't take back all the albums I had. I ended up giving it to my Airbnb owner to just give it to other people who stay there, because there's nothing of value in those albums other than you know the entry that it gets you. Yes.
So I don't know if you would have an answer for this. So how do some of these fan sign people get in? Do they just buy a bunch, or is it kind of a thing in Korea where if you know this person's a fan sign and you get one, you give it to them, like so that because
They're
it seems like
black
these fan signs are always in these meetings. So
There's
it's kinda
no
like-
way to actually give your spot to someone else because unless you're buying for them in the first place, right?
Okay.
Because they verify your name when you
Okay.
go into the fan sign, and if you show up and your name is Cherry, but the person who bought the albums was Melanie, then they're not going to let you in.
Okay.
Right? So, but there some groups do allow for a thing where you can share the sign pages. So for example, they'll let their idols sign. Like if I like a member and you like a different member, we can piece together our funds
I
and then.
like the photos, like these fan sites are always there. Like I feel like they're at every
Right.
single
So I
event,
guess
it's like, how
fan
do you
sites
get
it
in?
would. Fan sites is going to a little bit of a different different
yeah.
area. So sometimes they have their friends take pictures for them. They're not necessarily always there in person.
Okay.
Sometimes they get in, but like there's no chance where they're going to rotate in and out of the fan
Okay.
sign. Like you can't leave and then switch your friend in. That's not
Okay.
going to happen. But there's fan signs have their different ways of working. Also, a lot of them are Korean, so it's much easier for Korean fans to get into fan signs than foreign fans.
Interesting.
Yeah. But this is actually a picture of a mini fan meeting, so not a fan sign. This is one of these spontaneous fan meetings you get after the music shows. So these are completely free. Where you sit is random based on the number you get prior to signing up for the music show. It's Stray Kids.
Oh, Stray Kids.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right.
So you still have to sign up for these.
You
for the
always need to
after?
sign up. So
Okay.
every group will have a different method of how to sign up. Usually you just have to be fast, right? If they open sign-ups at a certain time, if you're the first person to click, then you'll be the first person in line.
Have you okay, so have you done that and just not gotten through?
It depends if you're trying to go for a very popular group.
Mhm.
Some groups will have tiers. So you will be first tier if you are in Korea, you have the Korean registration.
Okay.
And then if you don't have that and you're just going as a visitor, you will be automatically put behind the first tier, right?
Okay.
So if they're only letting in 200 people and there's already 200 people in the first tier and you were slow to sign up, you might not get it. But usually for rookie groups and for groups who are less popular in Korea, like
It's pretty
Stray Kids,
easy.
that's not
They're not
much.
popular?
They're not that popular in Korea where you can't get into their recordings.
That's crazy because they're like
Yeah,
massive
Stray
here.
Kids is an interesting case. They're very popular internationally, but not
Yeah.
many people, like we have trouble filling up music shows in Korea.
Really?
Yes.
That's why.
Like, even sometimes they let in 500 people and we only go up to 250.
Oh wow.
So this would be like inside a fan sign. Actually, the setup is very similar to what we have here. So you have your group sitting on stage while you're in the audience. So a closed fan sign, for example, you cannot come into to this area if you did not get in, right? And once you get in, everyone is sitting in a random order based on a lot that they draw once they enter the room. You'll come up in this order. You'll get your signature from each member in order. You can talk to them for anywhere between I think 1 to 1.5 minutes. Sometimes
Wow.
their staff will rush you along,
Yeah.
but a lot of times what I've had was that I was being rushed along, but then the idol I was speaking to would like hold me back, and because we're still talking.
Right.
So I think that's a really unique part of the experience. But one thing about this is that you're free to take, generally from a lot of groups, I think SM groups might be different, but for most groups you're free to take pictures while you're sitting here, right? You're not going to get pictures while you're up here with the idol, but while you're down there, you can take as many photos as you want for the entire 2 to 3 hours that the fan sign lasts. And usually in a room like this size, or maybe just a little bigger than this size, so that's probably where a lot of the clear fan sign photos you see are coming from.
Wow.
Yeah, when you're on stage, I think one problem would be the language barrier, because there won't be any translators. So sometimes nowadays, I think you mentioned a lot of groups, they have members who speak English. So I think it's becoming less and less of a problem. And even if they don't speak English, they will try their best to converse with you in English. Yeah, I think one actually really interesting recent experience I had was I went to a Stray Kids fan sign. I think it was my first fan sign. So I was my first fan sign for Stray Kids. I was really nervous. You always think you're going to be cool, but when you get up there, everything's just kind of blank. So I was speaking to Chun, I think, from Stray Kids, and he's fluent in English. And then so I was saying I was coming from Canada, and he was saying, and then when I was leaving, I was telling him, I'll come back next time to see you guys again. He said, maybe I'll go to Canada to see you instead. I blinked out. I said, no, you don't have to come. I said, because I'm from Toronto, Canada. I said, no, Toronto's, you don't need to come to Toronto. It's cold. There's nothing to do here. Go to New York or LA or something. So, they, a few months later, they announced their tour in New York and LA. So that was great. I hope no one from Toronto is watching this. I think it's just really, for me, I value that experience of being able to talk to them like you're, not like you're looking on at them, but as if you were actual friends, right? And then physical contact is allowed for most groups, but the extent to which they go depends on the person you're speaking to. So you'll have some members who are very touchy. They will hold your hand as soon as they see you. Even if you don't want to hold hands, they will grab your hand. And some people will be less about that.
So I do have a question for your fan engagements, like your fan meets and whatnot. Is it an actual concert, or is it just specific to the fan
Yes,
meet?
so I wanted to talk about that as well. Concert packages are really rare in Korea. So fan signs are just fan signs. It's just a standalone 2 to 3 hour fan signing session, and that's it. It's not tied to anything. You're not packages where you go into a room and take photos or have a high touch after a concert or after some kind of music show. It's not a thing in Korea, right? So that's why I feel like it's interesting how different it is.
For Japan, it's both.
It is.
So it depends on the level. So usually, like keep saying Teen Top, 'cause Teen Top. So if you go for Teen Top, they have a concert, and then afterwards they'll do some of them. Usually only photos. They won't do autographs, but they will do the photos, and they will do handshake. For the rookie groups, it is always a package. So it is literally a 2-hour concert, and then you are there for another 2.5 hours, sitting through the benefits, and sometimes twice a day. So that's my job. So we'll have both. It depends on the group.
That's really interesting.
Sometimes there are surprises though. I went to a Stray Kids showcase a couple of months back, and after the showcase, it was like a mini concert or a showcase. I was about to go home, and then suddenly we were being led down this hallway, and then they opened the curtain, and they're all just standing there. Right? It's just a surprise high touch out of nowhere, and you get a poster at the end of it. But they did an interesting that time where they split them into 2 sides.
Right.
So you were standing in front. You have 2 curtains in front of you. You have to walk through one curtain and see who you get. And so I think
was it random, or did they tell you?
No, you don't know. So some people go in there and shh.
You should have picked the other one.
But you can't go around.
Oh,
so
you could?
I think no, you can't.
Oh, you can't.
You just go straight out after you're done. So I think it's interesting how I feel like more and more these fan engagement events from different areas are trying to incorporate elements of each other. Right. So these high touches, photo ops, post concerts were not usually a thing. More and more, I think they were seeing some popularity. And earlier as well, I mentioned fan signs. So before it was very rare for an established group to have a fan sign outside of Japan and Korea, like overseas. But I think now that's also happening.
Yeah, they're starting to. I don't think they call them legit fan signs. They call them the showcases, I believe. And so they'll have maybe 1 or 2 songs, 3 songs, whatever, and then they'll have the benefits. So that's something. Yes.
Yeah, they actually started the fan signing here too. I was at the Obtention concert
Okay.
here.
Yep. Studio PV. Yep.
Yeah, Studio PV. And they did the whole fan sign thing actually. And the people that actually purchased the albums before the concert, they were getting that signed.
Yeah.
So I guess you had to like purchase a CD and then you get that signed.
Okay.
It was like a part of a package thing.
I know a couple of years ago, whenever Block B came, they did a showcase.
Yeah.
So it was, I know they've had a concert event after that, but years ago they did a showcase. And they did like calling fans up on stage to play charades with the members.
Wow.
At the end, everyone got to go up and high touch. Some people got group photos. But it was like it felt way more.
I had to sit through
More
a sports
group.
athletic meet.
A what?
We call it undokai. If you're really into anime, they always show it in anime. So they made the idols do that, and it was like, we're all in teams, and the idols are our captains, and you need to go jump rope with that idol right now. So the guy in the photo, like this on me, he's like, jump rope, right? So there's weird stuff, but like, Block B likes that.
Really?
But,
Nowadays they have where you buy the poses, right? They
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
like,
So you
get,
were
like,
out.
$20.
You were
Oh,
out
I
at
was
the
out.
time.
I'm
We
sorry.
did
I
talk
was-
about the pick a
Oh.
pose, which we did talk about, and I found it really interesting that no one else does this outside of America. So I thought that was something we were.
you know why they do it, right?
No.
They don't trust you. From an industry
Of
from an
course.
industry perspective, it takes care of the fact that the idol might not speak English and gives a limited range of interaction to make sure that you both are on your best behavior. That's why they're going to do it for the Americans and not for us.
So that's an interesting topic, because thinking about Teen Top, and one of the last times they were here in America, and people were in their hotel rooms, or in their hotel, and they were frantically typing
Oh,
into
okay.
Zoom.
That's
Do
why.
you really think that there is some, like, way more truth to that, and that they don't trust American fans to not
Absolutely.
be absolutely fashion?
Absolutely. You can put me on the record as like, this is what I researched.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So also talking to staff, and I've asked them, why is there a difference between the benefits like in Japan and versus Korea versus US? And they will point to, like last year we were here at KCON, and I think we were ready for a panel, and someone said, hey, 101 is at the airport.
That's right.
And they
Everybody
broke down
ran.
the glass at LAX to try and get to 101. And that makes the news in Korea and Japan, and even the Japanese are like, what is wrong with America? What is this? So there is this big stigma between, there's already a problem with language. They're already worried about language, and they want the idol to be comfortable, and they want the fans to have a good time, which for both they should. And then on top of that, there is this stereotype that American fans cannot be trusted.
And they'll jump out.
And then they'll jump the idol.
A lot of American fans.
There's many, yeah.
Okay. You and then.
I think it's also just like how we have already been, like through our press and everything, like over there, like over here anyways, like taking photos of celebrities, following them on the street, like trying to get their interview, like just swarming them in New York, wherever, like it's always been a thing.
Right.
And over there it's not necessarily like that. I feel
I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
There's a
but
tier of fans who will do it. There will always be the tier of fans that behave that way,
But I think
but
like
it's
culturally,
not
over
as
here it's
big.
a lot more socially acceptable
Yeah.
to do that. You're not gonna like call out the person doing it because it's like everybody's
Everybody
doing
does it.
We don't have top in mind.
You guys feel
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Like, it suddenly seems more, when an idol goes to a foreign country, it seems more acceptable for people online to see that, you know, someone's following them or is sitting outside their hotel. Whereas if that happens in Korea, everyone would be calling for heads.
Or we've report, like, I know we've reported people because we were like, why are you literally posting where ATEEZ is staying? Why are you posting this? Why are you sitting outside of their hotel taking, tweeting about, oh my god, they're playing this game. Like, how do you see that? You're on the ground, like, that's weird. It's creepy, and I think we should start having a culture.
Well, and it's also just recording things, so I didn't mention it in mine, but in Japan for a lot of the concerts and stuff, we're not allowed to record. They will make it very clear, and they'll say, like, song number 3 and song number 15, you can record, but if we see your phone any other time, we're taking it. And people follow that rule. And the same thing happens at the promotional events. They might say, especially a newer group, a rookie group might say, we're not very polished, so you can record the first song, which we know we're good, but after that we might make some mistakes, so please don't record. and people follow that rule. So when I come back and I come to KCON and I just see everybody like this, it is a huge culture, like reverse culture shock for me, because we just go to the concert to enjoy the concert with the light stick and the fan chant and all of these things. To actually have like the phone and try and stick it in his face is considered really rude.
AT's asking about
that. It happened to us when Arashi came to Hawaii.
To Hawaii, yeah.
And we went, and many of the fans, because they were members of their fan club, and they get that entry. Were there, and we were taking pictures, and the ladies were telling us, no, you can't take pictures.
You're not allowed.
We said, no, this is Hawaii, this is not Japan.
It's not Japan,
Oh yeah. When I came to Dallas, it was the same thing. They said if they saw a phone out, they would stop the live.
Yeah, I've been at those promotional events where they've said, okay, we can record it, and then they discovered someone. You mentioned the GoPro. I knew a girl who made like the sign, right? Like, oh yay, whatever his name was, and put her phone in it, and had it that way. And when they discovered that, they told everyone, okay, so just so you know, at the afternoon event, you were going to be able to record everything, and now no one can record anything. Because one 15-year-old girl can't behave.
Actually, though, I know I was at KCON New York, and I was sitting it was a good spot. But the person in front of me had a very fancy camera, very much like this gentleman here.
Sorry, man.
Sorry. First of all, how they got it through security. And then I believe it was for the AT's portion. They stood the entire time. And when they stand, it's not just I'm standing, like recording with my phone. They take that professional stand, so everybody behind them can't see. And then it kind of caused like this chain reaction where, okay, they're standing with these cameras trying to take it, so now people behind them, and then the people behind them, and it just went on. And I think somebody actually snitched on them because it was like, we can't see anything. You know, it was like the angle where we couldn't see the Megatron screen, and then we couldn't see the stage. So, yes.
I want to bring up like the differences between like fan chants as well, because like over here, I feel like everybody just screams. And you're there to hear them live. You don't want to hear the person next to you like screaming. Or if you're gonna like, contribute, do the fan chant and like not just.
I do find fan chants very interesting.
Or cameras the whole time too.
And I've been guilty of that. Like when my favorite group comes up, I'm like, I gotta record this because I know that there's, it'll be online, but it's just like, I want this for me. And it's like, but then I can't get upset when somebody else in front of me is doing it because now I can't see.
Right.
So, I have two things. Okay. One, also, I thought it was very interesting, our Korean teacher, because we took Korean in college. Ooh, that was great. Our Korean teacher was very upfront about like, you guys go to concerts and Americans dance or they're standing and they're jumping and they're being, and that doesn't really happen in Korean concerts. We stay seated or we stay very, if the artist tells us to stand, we stand, but we're very, we don't do that. So I think that goes along with the fan chant thing is over here, we don't think about there is a fan chant that we should be doing. But also, talking about like the phones up, I will say at the AT's concert in Atlanta, Hong Joon literally said, "We're right here, put your phones away," and people still did it. So they're not.
Like KCON has that whole announcement during the concerts, like don't make a lot of noise, don't scream, don't take photos, blah blah blah, and nobody pays attention.
And then,
but it only just started last year.
Also, when we went and saw, AOMG in Washington D.C. one time, you could pay to be on stage, and all the people on stage.
I heard about that.
And there were people just the whole time, their phones up, and they're right against the barricade. I'm like, look, 3 feet from there. And so we ended up going off the stage and being in the back of general admission because that was where people were having fun.
Right.
Okay. You guys said they say now. We've been doing KCON since 2013. But you said now they're saying don't stand up, don't be loud, don't really.
You'll see it tomorrow night.
There'll be a thing that tells you it's gonna start, scream, and then after that, shut up.
And they have like, they make the idols do this commercial where like somebody is making a lot of noise and then the rest is like, hey, we can't hear the concert, so can you be quiet? And it's like, it's kind of crazy.
But when the broadcast happens, so when you go and watch it later on Mnet, right, because that's going to the world, all they're gonna show is a few people in the audience who are screaming, like they have no sense, and that's what the image is gonna be for American fans still.
Are they doing those screen thing for the broadcast, or is this
No, I
they're
don't
trying
think
to
it's part of the broadcast.
change the culture now?
I think they want us to behave.
Yeah, which would be nice. It'd be nice to hear them sing.
Yeah. Well, and I understand that, but I know from the year
TikTok.
And literally in my section, nobody, like everybody was quiet, and so nobody from Teen Top was coming.
Yep.
And then finally, I stood up and I was like, forget it. I stood up, and so Training Joe comes over and he points out to me and somebody else, and everybody else in the section wants to stand up, and he pretty much is like, nope, and turns to me.
He's really funny like that. Yeah.
I understand the people not being able to hear, but it's like you can miss that interaction by not actually just standing up and
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's different. Some people can stand, some people can't. So like, I get tired. I want to sit down sometimes. Or for me, I don't stand for girl groups because I don't. That's another topic. But for the screaming, if I can't hear the idol at all, I will just say that in Japan, what's really funny is the Korean fans have the reputation as screamers.
Wow.
So the Korean fans who come to Japanese events will scream, and that's how he knows that she's there, and she came all the way from Korea. But the Japanese fans are just like, yeah, I have my sign, or here I am, you see me, hey, and we don't do that.
Well, I know there's a lot more questions, but unfortunately it's 4 o'clock, you guys, and we have to leave. I'm so happy that everybody came out and hopefully enjoyed the panel. And real quick, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Any other panels you might be on? Anything you're doing?
No, not really. But if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to come up to me after.
For me, same thing. You can come to me for social media. The first 2 people who come up to me and tell me their favorite Teen Top song, you won't get a Teen Top CD, but you will get these 2 CDs from Map 6, and so they have been touched by Map 6. And if you want to see an example of like multicultural stuff, I